I need to preface this by saying this video is not a joke in case you're out of the loop. This is not some sort of meme or troll. This is 100% real, and I'm being as serious as I can. Now, this is a situation that is really horrible for everybody involved, and it was my intention to keep the details of it private for as long as I could until everybody was around, I guess to give their side of the story. But now it's been I've been placed between a rock and a hard place with people pushing a false narrative, trying to make me look like some sort of bad guy when I am completely convinced I did nothing wrong. So, just for the sake of transparency and to, I guess, keep my reputation intact or whatever, I'm just going to say everything that happened, every detail from beginning to end, and I'm going to go as fast as I can because I don't want this to be dragged out. On Friday night, Friday the 23rd, at I don't remember what time, probably 10 or 11 at night, I received a Discord call from Assburger, Brandon, I'm going to call him Brandon for this, his girlfriend Jackie. And she was kind of hysterical, which makes sense. She was crying and begging me as I answered the phone to help her, to stop him. What was happening was Brandon had relapsed again and was blackout drunk and had been violently attacking her over the course of the night. She said that he had strangled her so hard that she actually thought she was going to die. He bit her as hard as he could on her thigh. He'd been punching her around, and evidently she was covered in blood and that there was blood splatter on all the walls. She had tried to call for help, but he had taken her phone, her cell phone, and had thrown it, and she thought it was broken, but she managed to lock herself in the attic to protect herself, and he was trying to break the door down to get to her. And I guess that's when she retrieved some sort of second cell phone that had internet access on it and was able to call me on Discord, begging me to help her. So I stayed on the phone with her and tried to keep her calm. Well, Sheepover, my girlfriend, called the police and sent them to interfere, which Jackie was very much against. She was telling me, I don't want to call the police. I just want him to stop. I want somebody to calm him down. So it was never a question. The police had to be called to save her life because she was in terrible danger. She had been beaten. So I stayed on the line the whole time. She never hung up. The police showed up, and unfortunately, when they went in to talk to the police, she didn't take the phone with her, so I could only hear bits and pieces of it because the phone was in the wrong room. But they talked to the police for about half an hour, and from what I heard, Jackie kept telling them she didn't want to press charges. She just wanted him to stop. The police got a little tour of the house and saw all the damage. They saw all the bruising on Jackie's neck and the bite marks on her thigh and all the blood splatter all over. And despite her not wanting to press charges, the police decided that this was a felony offense, and they arrested Brandon. And they took him in. And I actually have the list of charges here. We've got 1 count of aggravated assault, strangulation, 1 count of battery, 1 count of sexual battery, and 1 count of obstructing or hindering persons making emergency telephone call. And by my research, if he is convicted of all of these things, Brandon will be facing a minimum of 2 years in prison with a maximum of like 40. So it's not a good situation. But Jackie and Brandon's parents are working together to try to get him out scot-free. Over the course of the next 24 hours after the arrest, I stayed in near constant communication with Jackie. We had several very long phone calls, and when we weren't on the phone talking, we were texting each other back and forth. And after about 24 hours of this, I apparently made a horrible mistake. It was almost 1 in the morning, and I was just beyond tired and anxious, and my stomach just hurt so terribly from what had been transpiring. And around 1 in the morning, Jackie messaged me asking, "Are you still busy? I'm sorry to impose. I just don't know who else I can go to." Which means she wanted to call me on the phone again for another talk. But I was just ready to go to bed at that point, and I didn't feel good. So I told her, "I hate to leave you hanging, but I don't feel like talking on the phone right now." I thought that was better than just ignoring her and not saying anything, and just let her know, "Hey, like, we can talk another time. I can't talk right now." And evidently this was a terrible mistake, because Jackie took this just as far out of left field as she could. She went into her Discord and decided that I was the villain all of a sudden. And she began doxing my personal, private information that only her and Brandon would know to all the children in her Discord. And she started making up really disgusting lies about both me and Sheepover. Like, she said that I apparently had sex with my sister. And I started receiving just messages from these random kids on Twitter calling me a sister fucker and all this stuff, which doesn't really bother me because I don't have a sister, so it means nothing. But she was just saying all these things. She said that it was my fault that Brandon was arrested, and that I had ruined both of their lives because of this, and now she had nothing to lose and was going to ruin my life. All because I did not want to talk to her on the phone for a fourth time that day. Which I now, I guess I do regret. But I had no way of knowing she was going to lose her mind and start attacking me. So now, the reason why I have to make this video is because I have to defend myself from all the lies and misunderstandings and false narratives that are being spread about me, when all I did was call the police to save my friend from one of my other friends. So she, after saying all these things, she leaked some of our text messages, which are the ones I just read. She said, well, first of all, people are saying that they're accusing me of two main things, saying that, one, I'm an insensitive asshole and that I was treating Jackie wrong, and two, that I'm joking about the situation, both of which are just not true. So I'm just going to explain those as quickly as I can. In the messages that she leaked, the first thing that I say is he can make friends in there, as in he can make friends in jail. People have been accusing me of making light of the situation with Jackie and that this was meant to be a joke. I can assure you it was not, because the screenshot does not obviously show the full day of conversation. Immediately before I said this, Jackie said, and you can't see this because she didn't include it in her screenshot, "I feel miserable thinking of him scared and lonely in there," to which I immediately replied in the same minute, "He can make friends in there." I don't know how anybody could possibly interpret that as a joke. The concept of making friends with your fellow inmates so that you are no longer scared and alone is not a joke. If you think it is, you're probably 13 or mentally deranged. Then they're saying I'm insensitive because I said I hate to leave you hanging, but I don't feel like talking on the phone right now. Again, you don't know the full context. We'd been talking the entire day, and I just, maybe you have unlimited emotional and physical capabilities, but sometimes I get spent and I can no longer be a 24-hour hotline for those in need. I applaud you if you are capable of such an extravagant feat, but I honestly could not. I was ready to put my head down for the day. And then finally, people are saying I was joking on Twitter about the situation. So I guess I'll pull up that real quick. Somebody on Twitter said we should film The Wheel of Punishment 3 soon so that I can take the championship back from Burger. So I retweeted that and said, Burger is not going to be around anytime soon to film any stupid videos. Like, that's it. And people are accusing that of being a joke as well, when I was essentially matter-of-factly trying to tell people, like, Burger is not going to be around anytime soon, and I didn't want to give out the specific details as to why. because I felt like it was a private matter. But now, I mean, that's all out the window now that Jackie's been telling everybody things and blaming everything on me. After all these leaks and Jackie trying to tarnish my name and making up lies about me, I tried to contact her. I've spent the last day, me and Sheep, over calling her and texting her, but she's ignoring all of it. So it's really out of my hands. Uh, we have to remember that she is a victim of violent domestic abuse, and that she is currently justifying the abuser in her mind and desperately wants him to come home, which is just textbook. And clearly I can't help her anymore. So if any of you know Jackie, please try to get in contact with her to help her. I think like therapy would be the first thing, because things are not right. Like, she really needs the help. So if you know her, please help her. She refuses to even talk to her parents about this. So if you know her parents, that'd be helpful too, because it seems right now she has nobody, and I guess it's my fault that I wasn't there for her 24 hours a day. So this whole situation just has me sick to my stomach, and I've been having trouble sleeping, but I don't need to. It's not about me. It's about Burger and Jackie. So I'm probably gonna unplug from the internet for a few days to try to get away from all of this and see if I can make myself feel better. And I felt like it was necessary for me to give not my side of the story, but the actual story. This is 100% the truth and reality of what is actually happening. And the police records online tell the same story that I do, if you want to go look at those. I guess before I go, I should mention that the week before all of this happened, my brother Patchy was in town, and we filmed a whole bunch of Let's Plays and podcasts, during which we talked about Burger from time to time, mostly just making fun of the way he yells. And all those videos have already been uploaded and scheduled, and I'm not going to take the time to go through them and edit out any mention of Burger, because there's no reason to. So just don't be surprised if you hear us nonchalantly talking about him like nothing happened, because that was all filmed before any of this shit. And that's it for me. So that's the story, and it's fucked up. And I guess I'll see you next time, folks.